Greetings, friends. Welcome and happy Wednesday. What is up, Goaty _? What is up, Father Axe Keeper, Sword Fam, lurkers in chat, VOD viewers, and everybody else? Hope you're all doing well. Pretty well myself. Had a very good day at work. A shorter but very productive day. Received some positive feedback from my superiors on a job well done over the past while. That's always good. It's always nice. Little confidence boost, always welcome. Man, music's rocking. Let's turn that down a little bit. I mean, Lemmings jams are pretty hot, but let's simmer down a little bit. On Saturday stream, Saturday, what do I say? Monday stream. Days are floating together, I guess. Well, on Saturday stream, we did start James Bond 007 for the Nintendo Game Boy. And on Monday stream, we continued, and we got, I would have to assume, very close to the end. But I decided to not try to push through and risk going over extremely late for the sake of rushing through the end of it. The Game Boy Bond game is pretty sick, so I'm happy to savor it. We held off on trying to finish it, especially after taking a rather silly, unnecessary death and had to redo a big thing. I was like, you know what, let's just wrap it up here. So here we are. Tonight, I am fairly certain, unless there is some massive big surprise or a huge difficulty spike, I feel pretty confident that we'll finish the game tonight. I assume that there's not an awful lot left, which means we're not in a super hurry to get into it. I'm not gonna sit here and just waste time for the sake of it, but it just so happens that we do have a few things to take a look at that we can spare the time to do so. I have, through a coincidence, I don't know, it just so happens that a few items have fallen into my possession over the last 48 to 72 hours. As usual, I'm waiting for other stuff to arrive, but some stuff did through various channels from various directions, and after various amounts of waiting time. So I figured we can start today by taking a quick look at the items within that category that I happen to have on hand. Some of the stuff I don't have on me because they are at my office. But I will be bringing at least some of that stuff home in the not too distant future. So I guess we can start with that. Why not? The latest episode in a lengthy multi-part story that is, I guess in a way, I don't want to say that it's going to reach its conclusion, because I hope it isn't a conclusion. What I'm talking about is the fact that we, through work, to give the short, my attempt at the short version of a story. I'm not involved personally, but a different kind of branch of my company that I work for, we run a physical store that sells primarily tabletop and card game stuff. And through this channel, we have access to kind of retail distributor channels for not only tabletop and card gaming, but in some cases related and not even that related types of stuff, just because it's kind of with the same distributors. So to make a long story short, through this connection, I was able to make a lot of orders for various kinds of toy and hobby type stuff. And this was a privilege that I enjoyed for some time. I don't know, I would say a year, maybe a year or two, until, and the way it works, I guess I should mention, because it's relevant to the story. If you're used to ordering stuff privately. Doing this like as a business from a distributor, things work a little bit differently, but the long and short of it is you have very limited windows of time to place orders, and you're pretty much limited to, like, you have to get in on pre-orders when something, like, once something is announced, like a new figure or whatever, there might be a 2 to 3 day window in which you can pre-order it, and if you don't order it in that window, you're probably not going to get it. You have to commit to, or like, all orders are like binding, and a lot of the times the release time frame estimates are incredibly vague. Well, they're not usually vague in terms of what they say. They just don't tend to align with reality. Case in point, there was something that I ordered that was scheduled for release in like August of 2021, and by November 2022 I still had not received it, and it's like, who knows? So it's a little iffy like that, but in the case of, you know, stuff that I'm not, that isn't time sensitive, this makes it very convenient for me, and in a lot of cases, the cheapest alternative as well. This was great, and I ended up, this was in fact how I got into Gundams, because Bandai is one of the, you know, distributors that have their product available through one of these channels. So I'd kind of on a whim looking through what they had or what was coming in, because I would get the newsletter of all the product basically every day. Like, oh yeah, you know, these things seem interesting. Why don't I get a Gundam model kit? And here I am, like 30 kits later, fully obsessed and addicted. So as mentioned, this was something I'd been enjoying for some time when at the end of last year it was announced that this site was shutting down for like 2 or 3 days because they were overhauling their entire website and their entire kind of order system, like everything about the business basically was kind of going through some kind of, you know, change for a new version. And when that shift happened, for whatever reason, we pretty much lost touch with them. I'm not involved in the direct communication with placing orders or managing accounts or anything like that, so I don't have any insight beyond that. But basically what my colleague told me was like, well, we're, you know, they're not updating status on any of our orders. Like, the orders still exist in the system, but nothing's ever happening with anything. It's just like, and we don't get newsletters, and like everything is just, you know, it's like we don't exist. Last week, a good 11 months after this whole situation, basically out of nowhere, it seems, we get an update, and it's like, oh, well, this stuff is ready to ship now. And well, here we are. So yesterday, I think, Monday, a package arrived from Blackfire that had not everything that had been pre-ordered, because some stuff is still on pre-order, some back order and whatever, and we're gonna go through it tomorrow or something, just kind of sift through and figure out what's still potentially coming in and everything, because I know there's stuff that I had ordered that was not included in the stuff that arrived. But some of you may have seen on Discord, I posted a photograph of my shelf in the storeroom in the shop, where it's like all this stuff that I had ordered, and it's kind of annoying. I mean, it's good. I'm glad to potentially have this privilege and opportunity open again, but it's a little frustrating because obviously I'd ordered stuff well in advance with the assumption that, you know, it's going to be, you know, I'm going to be able to get it as usual. And then we kind of got locked out of the system, and I made the reasonable assumption that, well, I guess that's it. You know, let's not trust. I mean, especially given how the order windows are so limited, and like, it didn't seem reasonable to think that they would sit on stock for us. Like, if they're not even going to bother getting in touch with us, what reason do I have to believe that they're going to sit on stuff and hold it for us for however many months it would take for them to, you know, remember that we exist? Who knows? But as it turns out, of the stuff that we got in the shipment, I think there were like 12 or 13 items that were mine, and out of those 12 or 13, I think 8 of them were things that I have bought someplace else. Yeah, I mean, we all treated it as a lost cause, which again is why I started buying that stuff elsewhere. It's funny because I know I'd ordered the... How was it? It was one of the Witcher Mercury Gundams. It was either the Ariel or the Elfrith, and I missed the pre-order window for one of them, and I was a bit annoyed, so I ended up getting it from Amazon or something. And then this shit happened, and I was like, wow, I'm glad I got it, because now I'm kind of like, the thing I was annoyed about having to get elsewhere, well, now I have it. And the stuff I was getting from them, I'm stuck with, you know, not getting it. So then I had to get it someplace else and whatever. And again, I don't remember exactly which kits it was, but it was just funny how that kind of worked out. But for example, and I don't have them here because I didn't like collect them yet. They're still in the storeroom at work. But I have a second copy of the Power Rangers, Street Fighter, Ken, and Cammy figures, which I already don't like because I pre-ordered them. Because again, you have to pre-order and commit early. And then when they actually came out, I got them from Big Bad Toy Store, and I didn't much like the figures that much. But it's like, well, now I have two of them, and I paid full price for them twice. Well, I have a set of parts for customs, I guess. I don't know. There was also the Blue Centurion Power Rangers figure, which I also have at home, and I haven't even opened it yet. But so now I have two. And I also have a third set of Jada Toys, Ryu and Fei Long from the Street Fighter line. But that bothers me a lot less because, A, it's a really cool line from an upcoming sort of company. Well, they've been around a long time, but they were new in the action figure space. And I'm really happy to give them my support. And those figures are really great, and I'm happy to have extra parts for those figures to use for like customs and stuff. So that I'm less bothered with. And those are excellent figures. The Power Rangers, Cammy and Ken, are not excellent figures, so I'm like, you know, I wasn't thrilled about having one of them. Having two is pretty useless. And I ended up with doubles of a few Gundam kits, but those, like, conceivably, we can actually sell those in the store because there's probably kind of support in our customer base for that kind of stuff. Like the action figure stuff is pretty unrelated to anything that we actually sell in the store, so it makes sense that it's, well, you know, it's on me, so I have to pay for the stuff and get it, but that's fine, you know, that's only reasonable. But they're kind of cutting me some slack or giving me a favor, you could argue, for stuff that ordered, that's like, well, if we can sell it through the store, then it's fine. So luckily, I think there's going to be a few Gundam kits that I end up not really having to pay for, although ironically, I mean, the Gundam kits are the stuff that's like the most generously priced. Like the prices are really good. So I'm not saving as much by not having to pay for those doubles, but it is what it is. But I did end up getting some Kamen Riders, which I'm very happy to get. So we have Kamen Rider Black. So these are also model kits, by the way, very similar to the Gundam ones. And the reason I'm excited to get these is, well, I mean, Kamen Rider's pretty sick to begin with. But I remember specifically some of the Kamen Rider kits that I'd pre-ordered through Blackfire, which is this distributor. When it became clear, well, or seemed clear at the time, that we weren't going to get this stuff, that it seemed like, when it seemed like it was a lost cause, I would then go to check and see, all right, shit, can I get this stuff from Amazon? And several of the kits were like not very easy to get. And I don't really remember the exact status or which exact kits there were, but I just remember being really annoyed that I'd made these orders and then it seemed, and because I'd made the order, I didn't think, you know, I didn't plan to order them someplace else also. A few things I did order doubles of, but the things I couldn't order doubles of because at the time they were already kind of sold out or unavailable. That kind of stuff is the stuff I'm very happy to receive. So I have this one, Kamen Rider Black, and I think at the office I have, there's a Shin Kamen Rider kit, which I was like a little bit surprised. I don't really remember that I would have ordered it, but it was, maybe it was a little bit cheaper, I don't know. And there was a, shit, which one was it? Might have been an alternate version of Kamen Rider Kuga. One of those, like, early 2000s Kamen Riders. I don't remember which one. It's purple. I remember that much. So I'll be grabbing those tomorrow probably. But I also got a double of Kamen Rider Skull, which is like one of the coolest Kamen Rider designs. So that's cool. But I guess I don't need two. I don't know. Maybe I'll gift it to someone or something. I don't know. I'll think of something to do with it. But I'm pretty sure I had some other Kamen Riders on pre-order also. I think Kamen Rider Drive and maybe one more. So we'll have to see if those are, if they ever materialize. The thing is, I'll be happy to get them, but I don't think any of them were the kind of stuff like the one Kamen Rider kit that I was the most anxious to get was Kamen Rider Skull, as evidenced by the fact that I ended up ordering it another, someplace else to make sure I got it. So if there is one or two or even three Kamen Riders that I ordered that ended up not materializing for one reason or another, it's not going to be too upsetting. Well, I say that now, but when I check on it tomorrow and I actually look up which kits I had ordered, I might realize that it's something I really fucking wanted, and I'm going to be upset that if I don't get it, but we'll see. So I did end up getting Kamen Rider Black. I also got this, the Mirasol Flight Unit. So this is an accessory, this little backpack, and a set of hands, I guess. I don't know. Which I guess is used by Gundam Aerial. I think there's a picture here somewhere. Yeah, but like being used for some other kit. I haven't watched Witcher Mercury because I have not watched any Gundam. But I like these designs, and I guess I probably just ordered this basically because it was cheap. I think in the end I paid, well, with currency stuff being weird, I would guess around €8 or something for this. So not a big deal. So that's gonna be cool. I've got my I can't roll all the way over there, but trust me, you can see a white shield right there in the corner. Got a couple of Gundams sitting over there. I guess I'll equip my Aerial, the Mirasol Flight Unit. Speaking of Gundam Aerial, in addition to the stuff that I got to work Blackfire, coincidentally, a Sin co-worker who was kind of responsible for running the store, he was going to order some like Dark Souls or Elden Ring or something books from Japan. So he would like ask me if I wanted to get in on that stuff to save some shipping costs. Obviously, in hindsight, was a bad idea because I could probably have waited 2 days and Surugaya would run another free shipping campaign. But I figured, why not? And I guess it would have been a moot point probably because I don't think Surugaya would have this in stock. I'm pretty sure I would have looked for it. This is the 100th scale full mechanics Gundam Aerial. So this is a pretty beefy kit. The regular high grade kits, which is stuff I usually get, they come in this kind of sized box for the most part. So you can see this one is a little more than twice as tall, which makes sense. The high grade kits are 144th scale, and this is 100th scale. Now, I'm not really familiar with the full mechanics moniker. This is the same scale as the master grade kits, which I have never built before. But basically, they're higher, fidelity, more details, larger scale, and that seems to be about the thing with this kit too. So again, I don't know what the full mechanics branding kind of involves exactly, but the bigger thing is it's Gundam Aerial, which is maybe my favorite Gundam design altogether. I would say for sure, as far as like the standard looking white, blue, red, yellow Gundams, I really like the look of this one, and I cannot think of a single one that I like even remotely as much as Aerial. So I figured I don't mind double dipping for a design that I already have if it's like one of my favorite Gundam designs. I've been itching to get a master grade or 100 scale Gundam kit to build just to kind of see what that's like. And well, I don't mind doing it for a kit I already built. Well, it's not a kit I already built, but it's a Gundam that I already built. But it is one of my favorite ones, so yeah, I'm looking forward to this. And I was happy to get it because this is one I had wanted to order previously, but it had sold out, I think. Like at some point, if this had been available at Surugaya at some point when I've made one of my 12 orders over the summer or fall, I would have ordered it. So the fact that I ended up getting it from Amazon, I guess must have meant that it never was in stock. I don't really remember. What's up, Tiger Skydrum? Roboto-san, welcome, welcome. So between this and the Kamen Rider and the other two Kamen Riders I have waiting for me at work, that adds up to probably about 10 to 12 kits that I have waiting to be built. So I really got to get on that. I mean, I did for my birthday we started, and I later on finished this fella. But yeah, they are certainly accumulating, piling up faster than I can build them at this point. So I should get on that. Just got too much stuff going on. This Gundam in particular is not from the mysterious missing package. This is a coincidental order that happened to arrive at the same time. But the Kamen Rider Black and Mirasol Flight Unit did in fact come from the mystery package, if we call it that. And yeah, I ended up getting a bunch of stuff. I only kind of collected the stuff that I could carry home physically, so I'll be getting the rest of the stuff over the next few days probably. Speaking of making 5 million orders from Surugaya, they had free shipping again, right? And this was, I don't know, the other week, I guess. I really shouldn't have. I certainly didn't need to order any more stuff, but basically what I ended up doing was just taking a super quick look at my wish lists to see, because I mean, this is following a month of like a lot of expenses and me going, man, I gotta, you know, keep a tight leash on my wallet. So this is actually a very, very small order, all consisting of very cheap items. Right. But I basically just couldn't resist. So I ended up making a tiny little order. See, it fits in one hand. Well, it doesn't fit in one hand, but I can hold it with one hand. Yeah, but so the exciting part about the Blackfire thing isn't so much the stuff I'm getting, which, I mean, that's obviously not devoid of excitement. But for me, the exciting part is the potential of actually being able to order stuff through them again, because it'll potentially save me some money and save me some hassle for getting certain types of things. Gundams for sure, like it'll be by far the cheapest and easiest way for me to get those. For some of the other stuff, it's like less clear cut. So as an example, the Jada Street Fighter figures that I got, so I get like I think it's a 10% employee discount, and taking that into account, like looking when I saw the figures being like rung up in the register, I was like, ooh, man, these are expensive. But the thing is, like, there aren't many other alternatives that aren't as expensive. So like Hasbro Pulse recently opened their European shop, which is a godsend, because they have exclusives and stuff, and having to order stuff like through Walmart to a friend in America and having them ship them, like it's a huge nuisance. So being able to have a Hasbro shop that I can order from is great, but figures that are like 25 bucks in America are 30 euros, which is a fucking lot for the type of figure. And if I can get a sort of deal on it on Amazon, I can usually get them cheaper. But certain figures just aren't, like G.I. Joe Classified series. If I want to get any of those figures and I look at Swedish Amazon, they're just not there. Or if they are, they're twice as expensive. The prices are just absurd. And so that's the thing too. Like, the thing is, it's so easy to kind of trick yourself with foreign currencies, where in my brain, a US dollar, very roughly, is like 10 Swedish crowns. And I'm used to it being less than that because it was for many years, but I think of it as 10 Swedish crowns. But now, currently, it's more like between 11 and 12. So when I see a figure that's priced $26 in the US, in my brain, it's like, well, the equivalent price should be $250 here. Or, you know, let's exaggerate and say 300. And then you look at the like Street Fighter figures and they ring up as like 415 or something. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, that's so much. And like with my employee discount, it was down to like 370 or something Swedish crowns. And in my brain, that's like, holy shit, that's so expensive. But then it's like, well, if I actually buy them from Big Bad Toy Store, that's 25 bucks. But then I have to add, let's say, absolute best case scenario, saving on shipping in a big lot, $4 per figure in shipping. So let's say that's $29. Then I have to pay 25% sales tax on that. So just to make the math simple, let's say it's 30 plus a quarter. Man, that's not evenly divisible, but let's say, you know, that ends up to at about 38 bucks. Let's say 37 bucks. So if my terrible bad math was correct, or not even math, but like my terrible sense of what foreign currency is worth. All right, so that one figure will end up costing me 37 bucks. Well, that's 370 Swedish crowns, but it's not. It's more than that because the dollar's more expensive. And I happen to see that those Street Fighter figures in particular are actually available on Swedish Amazon now. They weren't for a long time, but they are now. And they're like $4.75 or something. Now, granted, I'll be keeping an eye on those because I'm curious to see if prices eventually will drop. I think they probably will. But that's a line I'm excited for, so I'll be buying every new figure as they come out. Like, I'm not going to want to wait for those price drops, so we'll see how it works out. But point is, like, compared to anything, buying anything at retail price, whether it's from the UK, the US, Swedish Amazon, Germany, whatever, in my brain, it often looks cheaper because I just do the math wrong. I buy something for 25 bucks, and then I pay for the shipping later, and then I pay for the sales tax when I receive the package. And because those costs are spread out, I don't notice them as much. And in my brain, getting it like all in one go, even if it's slightly cheaper, it just looks more expensive. It's fucked up. But I don't know. The thing is, again, even when it doesn't look like the greatest of deals, generally speaking, it kind of is. Like, when I can get stuff through Blackfire, through work, like, it usually is. The only time it's not the best possible deal is if I get something just like at a significant discount elsewhere. The other thing is, like, well, I also have the convenience of just having it shipped, and my coworker can like, oh yeah, there's stuff now, you can collect it, and I get to support the shop that we're running by giving them my business instead of taking it elsewhere. So I think it's still, like, I'd like to be able to do that. So hopefully, by them showing this sign of life and actually shipping stuff, we can begin placing enough faith in them to actually want to place additional orders and trust that the stuff will show up. It's going to be a little bit of a process. It's not fully a done deal. It's like, well, okay, the floodgates are about to open again. we're gonna kind of see how things work out, but I'm excited because I think it's promising. There's you know, it looked like a lost cause for the better part of a year, and now it doesn't. So that is exciting for sure. As far as this package from Surugaya, like I said, it was a small order. It was just 3 items. I basically just wanted to add some kind of complimentary volumes of books and such. Let me just get rid of some stickers here. I believe I have volume 1 of this, but I'm not sure. I'd have to double check the spreadsheet. But here's the King of Fighters 97 Comic Anthology Side 2, as well as Side 3. So these are Gamest Comics anthologies, usually pretty good stuff. And we are definitely not gonna like go through this to any like extended degree. Oh, we got a little questionnaire card in the middle here. But yeah, these are comic anthologies, just a bunch of different artists doing short stories. Let's see if there was a cool page that I flipped past. Let me see if we can find it again. There we go, just random cool KOF action. A lot of them usually have some comedic kind of stuff. Usually got some Ari Warriors. Orochi there, I guess. It's 97 after all. Oftentimes, the end of them, they usually have a couple of Yonkoma or other gag comics. Oh, this kind of stuff, I guess. I will certainly have to go through this a little bit more carefully at some other point. Oh, yeah, let's take a look. Actually, they often have a few pages of illustrations in color at the very beginning. Some good stuff here. Yeah, a lot of Yori and Kyo, of course. Now, granted, KOF 97 was, of course, the debut of the Riot of the Blood Orochi. Yashiro also, I guess, but I saw a picture of Yashiro, so I said his name by mistake. But Iori. So it kind of makes sense that that would be an element that is featured prominently in some of these comics. I mentioned that before, but I think that's fun about this kind of stuff too, where you get these little timestamp sort of things where it's one thing when you have a Street Fighter doujinshi or comic book or something from the mid 2000s or later, where it's like there's this baked in element of timeless nostalgia in it. Like you won't necessarily, I mean, especially when books would have come out in periods where there weren't really new Street Fighter games coming out, just as an example. Or anything that's like Darkstalkers. Like once Vampire Savior came out, that was it, right? So after 97, anything that came out after that is just, you know, it's those characters, it's that universe. But when you have stuff coming out in the middle of these games being released, you kind of get like, yeah, so in this, because it's 97, yeah, you get Shingo, you get Orochiori, you get Orochi, you get the New Face team. Like you get all this stuff that was exciting and new and popular at that particular moment in time. And I think that's always interesting because you would see potentially such drastic shifts in subject matter. Like I would assume, you know, even if Chris, Yashiro, Sheremy are all in KOF 98, once we got to the 98 books, I would not expect those characters to be featured as prominently because they just weren't the new hotness the same way. But yeah, these seem pretty cool. Some pretty nice artwork. Even at just a cursory glance. Oh, sick. We got Rock Band, Kyo and Iori. Pretty good stuff. immediately jumps out. All right, we got some pretty badass Yorian Oroch stuff. Got some very good Ikari Warrior faces here. Good stuff. Yeah, these would have just been basically a couple of hundred yen. This was a very small order. Trying to resist my urge to maximize gigantic box level shipments. Because even a gigantic box of super cheap items, you know, make it gigantic enough and it still costs a lot of money. Oh yeah, we got a pretty good him and Robert here. So I have an item here that I need to take a quick look at before I inspect it, before I show it to stream. A little bit of an unknown, frankly. All right, pretty cool. This is Comic Master EX Volume 7. So I don't remember what specifically prompted me to buy this. I think what I did, yeah, most likely something I hadn't really done before. When browsing Surugaya, the browsing and especially searching experience can be a little annoying, and it can be a little difficult to find what you're looking for. But the worst part is if you don't exactly know what you're looking for. If you're trying to find stuff and just, you know, stumble on it, that can be very difficult. So what I often do is I search, you know, I would typically search for King of Fighters or Street Fighter or Vampire or whatever, right? And I see what comes up. And on occasion, like when we found that super sick Fatal Fury comic, I make sure to check the author's name and see, okay, if I check the tag for this author, are there other books by this guy? That's how I ended up with those Bugs books, if you guys recall. I looked up the author of the Virtua Fighter 2 comics, which, by the way, I have also scanned and published to the Internet Archive, the Virtua Fighter Arashinomaki book. And that's linked on my Discord, so go feel free to check that out if that interests you. But I love the art in that book, so I was like, oh, let me find what this guy's done. And that was made by the creators of... what was it called? The name escapes me, but it's like a classic manga that was a very big inspiration for Virtua Fighter. It's about this young Japanese kid who learns like Chinese martial arts, and it was sort of like the template for Shenmue. In any case, I ended up finding some other works by that author, and I bought it just on a gamble to see what it was like, and it wasn't great, but that's how it goes. And those books cost like 100 yen each, so whatever. But what led me down the line to finding this book was not searching for a property or a subject matter. It was not searching for an author. I think what I ended up doing was I was looking at another book and I clicked the link for the publisher. Seems like a typical straightforward thing to do. And this, you may see, is published by Hobby Japan. Well, I don't know if you can, but trust me, this yellow little blob there says Hobby Japan. Can we get it? Whatever. Well, if I hold it like all the way over here, you can probably maybe read it. Anyway, Hobby Japan Comics also published the Amusement Anthology series, which is, out of all of these types of fighting game anthologies, the Amusement Anthology series I think have consistently been among the coolest ones. And I think I have some other stuff published by Hobby Japan. And like I said, I hadn't really thought to just go to the publisher page and see what they have, because I think maybe I just assumed that you would get like 5 billion results, but I think filtering it successfully or appropriately led to narrowing it down to still being able to check, like, all right, here's 14 pages of comic books published by Hobby Japan. So I just kind of flipped through it, and I found some stuff that I found a bunch of Tekken stuff, which is like, oh yeah, I guess I must have not thought to search for Tekken, because here's a bunch of Tekken comics and some other stuff. And I think that's how I ended up stumbling on this Comic Master and Comic Master EX. It may have been a combination of that and cross-referencing and searching from some author who was part of some of these fighting game comics. I don't remember, frankly. But it appeared that this and some other stuff, there were some kind of similar anthology collections, but with like original fantasy and sci-fi comics. The Virtua Fighter book that I have scanned recently was Virtua Fighter Arashi no Maki, or Virtua Fighter Book of Storms. But it was created by the writer and artist behind a completely unrelated comic that came out in the 80s that was the inspiration for Virtua Fighter, but I don't remember the title of that comic offhand. So I think this was basically just something I got at random, because it's like, well, you never know. If this was like $3, why don't I pick it up and see if it's got cool shit in it? And turns out it looks like it's got some cool shit in it. And you know, you never know. This might be a way to discover new artists or series or stuff I, you know, wouldn't have known about previously. So I'm curious to flip this through, because there was a whole, I picked this volume kind of at random. It might have been that it had work by some artist who was part of some other book, or it was just the cheapest one, or something like that. I frankly don't recall exactly, because this was sort of a frantic thing. I didn't want to spend all weekend putting together an order or something. Dude, this is pretty sick. Fucking snake kung fu and shit. So I didn't think too much about it. I basically just clicked around a little bit, said, this looks interesting. And does. Oh, okay. Gonna say this other guy's like doing some mantis shit, and well, what do you know? Just turns into a giant mantis man. Well, not that much of a man, I guess. Well, he is standing on his hind legs. Alright, I guess everyone's just transforming. So now we got a tiger cat lady fighting the mantis dude. And this looks pretty sick. Yeah, this is like full on like bubble era OVA shit. There's Born to Be Wild. Looks like some kind of Masamune-esque big old fantasy shit. Like this shit is fucking awesome. Like so dense with detail, all this shit going on. Takes a minute to even, like, I mean, webcam autofocus notwithstanding, even with my eyeballs, takes a minute or two to just stare at it to take in what's even happening. Got these winged fantasy babes battling it out. This is actually super duper cool. So this is a perfect example. I would have no idea what the heck this is, but now I'm very interested to look up this author and see what else I can find that they might have worked on. Yeah, I think you get this kind of stuff. It's, you know, it's an anthology, so it's very mixed, all kinds of different stuff. But yeah, there was, I guess, Comic Master, which I'm not sure if it was more of a magazine kind of thing or if it was released in similar volumes to this. But then this was Comic Master EX number 7. All right, so this is pretty good. Magic and Machine Wears Blade. Holy shit. Actually, I'm curious to see when this came out. Kind of place the sort of stylistic vibes. Place of time. Place of time, a point in time is what I meant. Yeah, there's some more cutesy comedic type stuff as well. Like, I'm not sure, I guess I have no idea if there's some kind of particular theme. Like, most of the stuff seemed to be kind of fantasy type stuff. Here's kind of pirate thing. But yeah, so it says right there, it says chapter 4. So I'm assuming a lot of these were like multi-part series that ran over multiple issues. This book, magazine, whatever you'd call it. Dragon, like even these like title pages are so fucking good. This was awesome. This was a great get. Taira Hajime is a name that does seem to ring a bell. Maybe it's just because it's all hiragana, but I think that might have been a person who was doing stuff for some of these other mythology fighting game type stuff. I'm not sure. The art style is like somewhat generic, doesn't immediately stand out as something I remember seeing in a different book. But yeah, very cool stuff. So now I'm, of course, interested in trying to get the immediately following or preceding volumes to see if I can improve my chances of getting multiple parts of the same series. But yeah. And this is another interesting thing too, by the way, that I tend to overlook, but sometimes I'm interested to see. This page right here often advertises other books. So a lot of the time you can see stuff from the same publisher that you might have not thought to look for. I mean, I'm assuming these are all like original, like these aren't going to be game-based books or anything. Well, actually, I say that, and one of them here is Sotsugyo, Graduation, which is a dating sim. So that's probably actually one of the Amusement Anthology comics. Because I remember most of them were fighting games, but a few of them were games like that. I think Graduation and some other one, which the name of the game I vaguely... It might have been the Mahjong game, but I don't remember. The name escapes me. Well, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Oh yeah, there's Makeru no Makendo. That's interesting. I didn't... Like, because that's not... Like, that's in a game originally, right? It's not based on the comic. Well, if it was, it wouldn't have been published by Hobby Japan, I assume. Yeah, this is a copyright for Data and Polystar. Well, I guess I'll try to search for the Makeru no Makendo comic book and see what that looks like. Yeah, this was published in 1993. That checks out. Sounds about right. Yeah, so like I said, bought this basically entirely on a whim. Didn't really know what to expect, but yeah, it ended up being a winner. Definitely gonna have to look up more of these Comic Master books in the future. Well, more books for the pile, more books for the spreadsheet, more work for me, but hey. Blew this thing to my desk, but we're okay now. Get rid of that. There you have it. There's the mini unboxing, whatever you want to call that. Paper looks in good quality for something 20 years old. Solata, my friend, I regret to inform you that 1993 was in fact 30 years ago. But I do in fact have books that are from 40 years ago. And you may or may not be shocked to know that books can be a lot older than that and still... Like, paper holds up well if you take care of it, as it turns out. There are very old books that are... I mean, there are very old books that are in terrible condition, but there are ones that hold up just fine as well. Part of what makes them actually kind of fun to collect, in my opinion. Anyway, we've wasted enough time. I think we should move on to the main topic of tonight's stream, which is, of course, James Bond. Chat getting excited about old paper. Hell yeah. PC-88 strategy guides from like 86 that look like they're brand new. Yeah, I mean, there's something, well, I mean, it's fun with books because I think it's less unique, but collecting old stuff from Japan, it's usually like everyone just takes care of stuff, it seems like, so everything is like remain in pristine condition. But I feel like you're more likely to get a book from like the 60s that is in good condition than a video game from the 2000s. Then again, I guess it also comes down to how, like, if it's a hardcover thing, like, it'll just naturally hold up better. So I guess that's part of it as well. I mean, sure, not every paper stock is created equal either. That's true. But, I don't know. I guess it doesn't... I don't care either way, really. Like, it's nice if it's pristine, but... I mean, and even this stuff, I mean, the camera doesn't really, you know, reflect the color perfectly faithfully. I think it was this one. Oh, maybe it was the other one. I think one of them was pretty... Oh, maybe not. I was gonna say one of them, I think, had some yellowing here and there, but whatever. It's the best part if you get old stuff is if it's like a bit smelly, like the old vintage Tankobon Musk old comic books. There's just, I don't know, there's something very special about that I find very enjoyable. But I think I don't know, maybe that has to do with you know, it's said that the sense of smell is the sense that is closest linked to memories. So just like, even if it's not the exact smell of a particular memory, I think something about those Japanese books, it just kind of takes me back to when I was living in Japan, which at this point is 15 years ago. That's, you know, a lot of years ago. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But there's also just this, I don't know, there's something extremely just analog and tangible about the smell of a book that you just can never replicate in another kind of medium. What's up, Lariah? Greetings. Also, hello, everybody. 45, Gundam. Anyone else I might have missed saying hello to. My favorite video game comic books? That's an impossible question to answer, in my opinion. I've spent the last year or two buying like 200 of them, and I think a lot of them are sick, but I guess the current sort of favorite at the time is have to be that Fatal Fury book with the cyber geese. I mean, that one's hard to top. It's pretty incredible. I don't have it on hand to show, but we talked about it when we did the unboxing and we looked through it a couple of weeks ago. But I would say broadly, like all these Japanese, like the part of why I'm so obsessed with getting all these books is because they're so cool. They have this very well, I can't call it a very distinct style because there's a great variety in them also, but there's a vibe to all these books that is kind of unlike anything else I can think of. As far as stuff you can actually, well, I was going to say, as far as stuff you can easily get, I mean, this isn't difficult to get. You can just order it from Surugaya, but you don't read Japanese. It's not that approachable. But there is... Udon Comics have translated and published some of... I mean, obviously, in the grand scheme of things, a very limited selection. But they've done a better job than anyone else of getting some of this stuff to an English-speaking audience with the... I think they've released Sakura Gambaru. They've released Ryu Final. They have released, I think, some of the Itomami Street Fighter 2 comic anthology stuff. And they have released Maleficarum, which is another book by Itomami that's all based on Darkstalkers. And that's all like high quality stuff. Ryu Final and Sakura Gambaru, they're both by what's his name? Masahiro. What's his name? Naka something? I forget. And he did a bunch of Street Fighter comics. Trying to remember if they might have I think they might also have released a third of his Street Fighter comics, which I don't remember. I think it was Street Fighter Alpha or Street Fighter Zero. And some of that stuff I reckon is probably still in print, or you could still get them at least. So if you're interested in the world of 90s like Street Fighter or Japanese fighting game comic books, that wouldn't be the worst place to start. Blue X, greetings. Personally, I think the Udon, like the comics that they've done of Street Fighter and Darkstalkers and whatever else, kind of a mixed bag. They're parts of it, it's fun and enjoyable, but I think the Japanese stuff broadly is a lot more exciting and interesting. Anyway, that was a fun little detour. We were able to take a little time for that because, well, hopefully, presumably, we're not super duper far off from finishing the next Bond game. But on that note, why don't we hop on over to that scene? We are continuing our journey through James Bond 007 for the Nintendo Game Boy. We have some exciting stuff to recap. For those of you who missed the previous stream, we started off being sort of lost in the back alleys of Marrakesh before we were able to steal the hotel room key off of Mr. Fez, Oddjob's right-hand man. When we got into Oddjob's hotel room, we saw a giant boss sprite Oddjob shoot like 45 hats at us. And it turns out it was like a forced loss kind of boss fight. Oddjob stripped us of all of our gear and left us for dead in the desert. So we had to carefully find our way, navigating between like the rare desert oasis to refill our water canteen and make it to a military base where I guess they had been briefed ahead of time and they flew us to Tibet. I think it was Tibet, Nepal, I don't know, some remote mountainous region. Once there, we had to start contending with grenade and rocket launcher enemies. And we had to like find enlightenment by climbing all the way to the summit, entering the temple. Oh yeah, there was a great part where we found the Yeti just standing there roaring at us, and it turns out that it was an MI6 operative in disguise who just like takes off his gorilla mask and whatever and briefs us. That was pretty good. So when we reached the peak of the mountain, we went through this kind of trial of courage or whatever. And in order to perform the trial, we had to, again, surrender all of our weapons. And the trial of courage, or whatever they call it, the test of courage, basically consisted of fist fighting about 15 to 20 sumo wrestlers. That was pretty good. And once we defeated all the sumo wrestlers, it turned out that it was all a ruse. It was a trick played by Oddjob, and because he had once again successfully stripped us of all our gear, we couldn't really do much, so we were apprehended and brought to his like lair, and we were in a prison cell, and we managed to get out of the prison cell because we were let out by Zhang Mei, the boss from stage 1 in China. Turns out that she had only been cooperating with Oddjob's arms dealing circle due to essentially a misunderstanding. I don't know. She's not so bad after all, it turns out. She was getting screwed over also and realized that, hey, these guys are villainous. So she decides to start helping Bond. We had to fight 8,000 guards. She was working on figuring out the passwords to open up some kind of locked door to escape the facility. In the meantime, we had to go collect all of our weapons and ammo, and eventually make it to the final showdown with Oddjob. And throughout the level, we collected the shield, which lets us deflect bullets and weapons. And it turns out that you need the shield to fight Oddjob. So we got a repeat of the Oddjob boss fight, except this time we were able to defend ourselves and, in fact, defeat him. And defeating Oddjob, he admitted that he wasn't really the brain behind the operation. The real villain was some Russian General Orlov or something. So we escaped the facility and received, like, someone had a friend, you know, the way it works out. We received help and we were guided towards the real villain's, like, he is like hiding in some kind of nuclear waste facility / power plant / industrial zone. So we had another big maze-like level of getting through the industrial area, and we had to fight Jaws. So of course, another big, unique, elaborate boss fight where we had to step on buttons to activate gigantic electromagnets to stun Jaws. We had to like kite Jaws to walk into the magnet and get stuck and be like stunned, so that we can chuck grenades at him. It was a pretty good fight. Whenever you touch Jaws, he just grabs you and starts chewing on your head. But luckily, when you wear a bulletproof vest, the chewing on the head doesn't do that much damage. So we got him first try after a little bit of figuring out. And I think after defeating Jaws, we kind of gained access to the inner sanctum. And that's pretty much where we are right now. So it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride. There's a lot of really great moments. Like the combat and gameplay is, you know, a little bit, I don't want to call it clunky, but let's call it perfunctory. It's not super smooth and exciting always. But there's a lot of interesting little scenarios and little story beats, and the, you know, the set pieces and the boss fights and stuff like that shit is really, really cool. A little bits of dialogue add a lot of flavor. And it's a surprisingly funny game at time too, so it's pretty sweet. Yeah, defeating 20 sumo wrestlers would be nearly impossible, but not if you're James Bond. Lariah, did I get the Night Warriors Darkstalkers comic book hardcover? No, I don't have any of the Udon Darkstalkers comic stuff. I have very little of the early Street Fighter stuff that they put out like a decade ago. Actually 2 decades ago. Speaking of not remembering how years work. Yeah, because I think the first stuff came out around 2003, 2004. I have like the first 2 trade paperbacks of the original Udon Street Fighter series, and I think that's about it. Oh yeah, that's right, dude. I forgot about that whole part, Father Axekeeper. Oh dude, oh shit, that was like the sickest part. We escaped from the prison, whatever, right? And after that, we had to find a friend of Zhong Mei's in Kyrgyzstan. So we went back to the second level, but because we had like we had defeated one of the like tyrants ruling the area, Bond had inadvertently, I guess, created this like vacuum of power that led to some kind of civil war, basically. So you get to that level from earlier in the game, and it's like a complete war zone. Everything is on fire. Buildings are torn down. They're like corpses lying everywhere with birds pecking at them. And the few people you find that are alive are all like, well, thanks for fucking everything up, Bond. And then you later on you go into an actual war zone with like just mortars going off, like explosions happening constantly. So what happens is you find this guy Mustafa, I think it was, and he agrees to help you if you take out the other 2 rival like leaders or whatever. And one of them I think was just this super tough guy, and the other one was like super hyped up as this like really aggressive, dangerous dude. But it's like I forget what the dialogue was, but it's something like, oh yeah, he's you know, he talks a big game, but he's a big coward or whatever. And yeah, the boss fight, the way the boss fight works is literally like he starts like hulking up, and it's this giant buff dude, and you literally shoot him once, and he like he drops to the floor and literally starts waving a white flag and gives up immediately. That was pretty funny. So yeah, I think that's the thing. Like after you get help to escape, then you go to back to Kurdistan, and when you find Mustafa, he helps you. And is that when you get to Nepal? I think that might be how it works out. Or Tibet, or whichever. I think it's Tibet, actually. I forget. So yeah, quite the globe-trotting adventure. This game is like, it's funny too, because like just describing it, if you didn't see the previous streams, or like you said, if you saw the first stream, like everything that happened last time, like it got pretty crazy. Oh yeah, the dude in the desert. That was super sick. So when we're in the desert, the first thing you do, basically, you go up one screen and there's a guy on the camel who's like, wow, you're in trouble, my man. Here, have this water canteen so you can at least survive. And you go back to the first screen and there's an oasis where you can refill it, and it has like a limited time used. So every time you move to another screen, it decreases by 1. So you can move like 6 screens, and then you start taking damage every time you change screens. And you're left with very little health and no healing items and whatever. Because this is immediately after the first forced loss Oddjob fight. So we did a bunch of trial and error to find our way through the desert, and at some point you find a guy who's like, oh, it's too late for me, but go this way or whatever. And he's like crawling on the ground. So if you leave the screen and you come back, then he's dead. And if you leave the screen again and come back a second time, the sprite of the dead dude has like faded in color, so he's like more pale. So he's sort of like, I don't know, being like covered in sand or like just melting away in the desert. Like it's such a awesome little effect. This game is like chock full of these weird little details. That's, I don't know, it's pretty incredible. So I have high expectations for the end game.
It's like one of my Japanese animes.
Pretty much. What's up, Solid Snack? So yeah, we were meant. Oh yeah, that's right. When you go back to Kurdistan, you find 008, and that's when he finally dies, right? Because as the screen here, which I've been mostly ignoring, talks about, Bond is sent on a mission to find 008, who was, disappeared under mysterious circumstances investigating this arms dealing plot. And you find him in this prison cave in Kurdistan in like level 2. And he is like surprisingly alive, and even more surprisingly appears to still be alive when Bond leaves. Of course, the reason for that is for Bond to be able to come back to Kurdistan later in the game to find I think he's actually technically still alive. I think he is dying when Bond gets back there. Or maybe he was, whatever. He didn't make it. But yeah, that whole thing is like so fucking sick. But yeah, so let's head into what I guess will be the final level, and maybe a really sick final boss fight. Who knows? Let's hope that I didn't do something to fuck up my EverDrive save file or anything. But if that somehow is the case, then maybe we'll replay large parts of the game. Who knows? His dialogue was just ... I see. Yeah, I don't remember details. All right, let's see. Oh, nope, there we go. Set this up before I bring it up on stream. This. Bear with me for a moment. The signal's gonna be a bit weird, but maybe when we work better. Voodoo-sama, greetings. All right, let's gameplay going. Oh, yeah, okay, turn down the jams. We're gonna keep blacking out. Yep, let me that, see if it works any better. What's up, Vinot? Everyone get his name? Blofeld. Make a movie out of this game? They should. It would be pretty sick. It'd be a top 10 Bond film, I'm pretty sure. All right. Let's get the unique Super Game Boy frame for this game. Yeah. Developed by Sapphire. Now I'm extremely interested to look up what Sapphire has done. Someone mentioned when the game, like, before we started on the first stream, I think, like, if I was familiar with Sapphire's work, and I'm not. I probably looked it up when I first did the research for this project, but that was over a year ago, so I don't really remember. But this game is very interesting. Got your Saturn model kit. Congrats, congrats. Yeah, we just did some unboxing earlier. I've got some I've got some model kits and stuff to build also. But feel free to check out the VOD if you're interested. All right. The music in this game is pretty good too. Ah, okay. Save file is intact. We're in Russian generals. It's pretty funny too. We're this like hidden Soviet thing. Let me start the timer. It's just, you know, it's Bond, so okay. Oddjob is there. Jaws is there. Bad guy is a Soviet Russian dude. Like, all right, whatever. All right, so we have our shield. We also received the mirror at the beginning of this stage, which is the only defense against lasers. We have yet to see any lasers, but I guess they will show up sooner or later. Oh yeah, we got plenty of medkits. I kept dying because I was being a bit stupid and not using them like I should have. The light vest, 11 rockets, 19 grenades, 36. Okay, I think we might go. Here we go. Let's go machete for now, and see if we come into troublesome situations. We ended up having to swap weapons quite a bit on the previous stage. Yeah, so when you got the shield up, you're impervious to bullets from the front, or you know, whichever direction you're facing. But enemies who have rockets can still hurt you. So that's my downfall a lot of the time when I'm being... It's like not always super easy to make out when someone is shooting you with a rocket versus bullets. Oh yeah, so we got like unique guard enemies here. Or more to the point, the enemies themselves... healing. Ugh. In the previous stage, the rocket enemies and the rifle enemies were a little easier to tell apart. Here, not so much. So yeah, already taking a little too much damage. So I think we need to. All right, 69 machine gun bullets means we can probably safely use that. Oh yeah, that's right. Shit, you only need 2 bullets. Grenades, good. All right, so the way this works is we have to go to the left and to the right to open up that switch room. To the right and to the left, each of them has one big switch like that, which each opens a gate in this tunnel up, the central tunnel here. So here, there she is, tied to the rocket. Dude, this is so fucking sick. And I guess it's like boiling lava or something down there. Maybe it's... Oh, shit. Oh, I didn't think... Did I trigger this last time? I don't think I did. You have to stand on the, like, correct tile. James, help me! How did you get here? When I contacted Mustafa, he told me all about Golgov. I was unable to contact you, so I decided to pursue him myself. I walked into a trap. He's crazy. James, he's going to launch these missiles. Stop him. Oh, okay, you just bump into this wall and that triggers her dialogue. All right, that's pretty sick. We missed that last time. Yeah, the machete is it's a pretty good weapon. It's like... proven useful throughout the game. Enemies are a little weirdly blind and stupid sometimes. Oh, okay, that didn't quite reach. The way the sprites kind of align can be a little funny. So the rockets kill in one hit. Oh, booby trap. But they don't actually, they don't have any, like, splash damage. There's no, like, range. Can't believe I remembered that. I didn't trust that I remembered it. It just felt right to try that one, and it turns out it's correct. Because we did this, like, 3 times. Because I died. So now we're past, like, tier 1. So there's a closed door here, and a closed door here. And now we advance to the next section. And here, we found 2 combination locks on the left side. And if I went down here, that's the screen where I kept dying. So I don't actually know how things... like, what happens next, basically. And the shield. Alright, machine gun ammo, health. We'll swap back. 87, yeah. Yeah, these guys shoot, like, more rapidly. But also at sort of uneven timings. Compared to the earlier enemies. Oh. There we go. Let's leave it in the correct spot. There's one locked door, and I think if I continue left, there's a second one. So I do have, what, at least 8? Yeah, 8 medkits. It gives full health, so of course I don't want to waste it by using it when I've got a lot of health. But I don't need to save it until I'm, like, the very last moment either. Oh, we got another medkit. Right, there was no second locked door. There's just this world map. It's so sick. There's no... well... technically, I might have saved with worse items now. So there's... somewhere down here, there's a rocket guy. But I don't think it's like the first guy on the next screen, I think. I think 30 is max rocket, so we might as well. Best. Yeah, I think that previous screen I died a few times. Oh, no, there we go. Enemies don't respawn until you go to like a different area, which is also very nice. Man, did I misremember? Get lost. This is the map room, right? Yeah. And this is where I went up into the left. Yeah, okay, okay. So this should take us back. Yeah, okay. So let's just check. This should have a locked door. Yeah. Might sort of be PB territory here. I think so. Guard. Yeah, back to 30 rockets. Sick. Whoa. Oh, he got me. Nice. Healing. Okay, excellent. Let's try. I'm guessing... Oh. Well, I guess these blank walls... we can safely trust that they're not going to have a bunch of hidden items. Is there going to be another map room over here? Or maybe some other unique room? Another map room. But it's pretty... Oh, I shouldn't have... Try to walk away. Alright, so... I have 10 medkits. That might be max. I don't think I've ever had more than 10. So in case someone drops one, I might as well heal up. Rockets, nice, nice. Oh, okay. All right, we're making it past the next tier. Could this be it? Left. Be a third section? Oh, oh my god. Did you guys catch that? Holy shit. We got fucking mech suit Russian general. Beg your pardon, forgot to knock. Mr. Bond, I've been expecting you. Tell me, General Golgov, does plunging the entire region into war really compensate for the disarming of Russia? You must be referring to the arms deals. They are only a vehicle to show my power. With your disregard for human life, you are in no position to have power. The world is changing in a dangerous direction. World leaders are making treaties and disarming entire military arsenals. Without an army to enforce order, chaos will rule the world. Correction. Criminal brain, the breakdown of arms is the first step towards an era of peace and safety for all countries. Enough, Bond. Observe the instrument of Armageddon. You expect me to surrender? No, Mr. Bond. I expect you to die. Oh, shit. Alright, we haven't had lasers yet, so... Probably not the final boss, but still pretty fucking sick. Oh, shit. We blew up his legs. What a sad day for the world. It's just lost its greatest leader. Although you have defeated me, Bond, you cannot escape the destiny I've created. We'll see about that. Alright. James, the General started the launch sequence for his nuclear missiles. You must quickly disarm them. Oh boy. Time limit? Oh, dude. Electro floors. Dude. Okay, I guess we disabled something. Are those lasers? Alright, let's pull some switches. Hope for the best. Okay, they're not making this terribly obnoxious, at least. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, but hopefully I'm doing what I'm supposed to. Whoa. Just turn this thing on. Was that, like, timed? Oh, okay, those are probably lasers. Little gap here. So I guess this is just. Do I turn? Okay, I'm not sure. I'm gonna pull a switch unless it blocks our way. I hope it's not like some combination. The right ones have to be pulled up or down. There doesn't appear to be a countdown, at least. Ah! And we just got super lucky up there. Yeah, no remote controlled missiles for Bond, unfortunately. Oh, there we go. Keep going. Not pull switches unnecessarily. Heal up. Got 9 medkits. Didn't need one for the previous boss fight. I think we'll be okay here. Actually, I should just use this. Oh, ah! Okay, great timing. Ah! Those aren't lasers, I guess? Okay, those are bullets. Oh yeah, they're shorter, I see. I just realized there's a giant hole there. This is actually pretty cool. That's a bullet. Bullet. Okay. Ah! Laser. Okay. Good. Laser. The bullet up there. Let's switch. Ah! Walked into the electric floor. Does it ever stop? Doesn't seem like it. It does. There's a tiny little gap. Maybe it's just because I got hit. I gotta like face left. Ooh, let me heal up. If I face left first, then I can walk diagonally like so. But yeah. Ugh. Holy shit. Okay. I was gonna say, surely I'll continue after the boss fight at least. Okay. Okay, that's a little dodgy. So I'm assuming, yeah. Maybe for this one we just, yeah, you just pull every switch to disable it, and there's much more to it than that. I'm a little freaked out because I'm not really sure what I can do here. I'll say this. I'm glad I decided to cut the stream where I did last time. Because otherwise I would have had to cut it here. And I'm glad we got to see that boss fight and do everything here. Like, that was a good... Ended up being the right choice. But this seems pretty climactic. We've, you know... We've defeated the boss. And, you know, the question of... Of where we need the laser protection. Well, here we are. So that's probably basically the end. This one will disable the next, I think. I think I probably could have handled that situation. I got a little flustered there at the end. The combination? I don't think this is going to help me. Maybe I needed to go back and pull another switch earlier. Huh. I pulled that one down there, but I just walked past that one. If the lasers would kill you instantly, that would be kind of insane. But like at the end last time, it kind of looked like I just got fully stunlock comboed, and I don't think that's what actually happened. I was just holding down because I was kind of stubbornly trying to brute force it. When I could have just faced left. Dude, why am I not figuring this out this time? I go back. Whoa, maybe I do. I thought I was being clever skipping stuff, but I don't think I should have. But now I don't know what I've switched up or down. Oh, this is... I'm confusing myself now. I think that's the first one? Yeah. I definitely skipped this. So, this probably opens up the last one. Would have been cooler if we'd been able to finish the rest in his mech suit. I don't know. I'm not complaining. Nice. Okay, we got it. Oh, that's a bullet. Gotta focus here. Bullet. Ah! What happened last time? I need to heal up. Let me go somewhere safe first. Yeah, but I'm just nervous because I didn't have a lot of time to sort of lab how that plays out, so I only have my best guess as to what I might be able to do to survive a little bit longer. You see, you get knocked back pretty far, but I'm not sure if the knockback is based on your facing direction or how that works exactly. So I can do this. Oh, I can do that. Okay. I can just push against the wall. Well, that's her. She's safe, I guess. Oh, boy. Oh, Turret. Okay, I guess I disabled that. Yeah, what I didn't think of is I can walk diagonally and just push against the wall. Wait. So let's just try and do this systematically. I don't know if you can like literally walk off those ledges where there's a gap, but I don't want to find out. Assuming I can't walk over those holes at least, so I can go down there, but I think there was, yeah, I can go down here first. Okay. So I'm taking this as some path. Oop, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get back to her that way. This place is pretty big. Bullet? Okay. Bullet. Whoa, bullet. Okay. At least we know the layout, so I have to get up. But that's probably the correct route, actually. Now I can go up here. Yeah, I think I had to take that route, actually. You know, there's probably not some other big fight, and even if there is, I've got 8. I will have 7 medkits after this. Let's not take any needless risks. So I guess that's all of them? Because there weren't any paths, like, down from here. Probably not gonna make... Oh, okay, I can just do this. I did... Okay, so I did go up here, right? Yeah, the switch is pulled down, which means I pulled it. Then it's just our 3 vibes. Yeah, I've never really played that, so I guess I wouldn't have that association, but... There are parts of this, like... Parts of this game that have, like, Metal Gear-esque vibes. And parts of it that have Zelda vibes, and part of it that is something else. Shut down the power grid, and let's get out of here. Oh, dude! How sick is this? Are you okay, Zhongmei? Now that Golgov's operations has been destroyed, my people and I can begin to rebuild our lives. I want to thank you for helping make that possible. Dude, look at him. Romantic walk on the beach. The missile's in competent hands. We can enjoy a well-deserved vacation. What did you have in mind? I thought I would take you home. On a slow boat to China. Oh, James. Ah, there we go. Game over. Developed by Sapphire Corporation. 6 hours, 2 minutes, 40 seconds. There we go. There's the credits. You did it. I did do it. We did it, guys. I feel like the ending... Oh, dude. Try these names to play the card games. B-Jack, Backer, or Red Dog. That's pretty cool. Cheat code passwords to access the Marrakesh Casino minigames. That's pretty cool. Little cheat code rewards. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, like, I feel like the ending could have been more elaborate, but, and I say that based on the high bar that the game had set for the presentation. Like, I would have loved to have seen, you know, hear a pithy line from Q, or, you know, something like that. Or, you know, just seeing, like, instead of them just walking on the beach, like, seeing them get into some MI6 submarine or something. Like, there's a little touch there you could have added to it. But the fact that we got that one unique image of the two of them, like full screen artwork, like there's nothing like that in the rest of the entire game. And the boss fights were all really sick. And it's pretty cool. We have this big sort of escape sequence. And again, the fact that the escape sequence, it was tricky in some ways, one of the hardest things in the game. You know, before I kind of got the hang of it. But there was no like obnoxious timer or like, it was all very comfy and pleasant. If only Nintendo could reference this game that they published in the present day. Yeah, man. I mean, GoldenEye was able to happen. But, you know, of course, there's probably significantly more clamoring for that game. But this game isn't partially owned by Microsoft, so technically it would be easier. But on the other hand, Microsoft were probably the ones pushing for GoldenEye to happen. More so than Nintendo. Like a Metal Gear escape, a tricky sequence after the final boss. I guess that's fair. That's fair. There we have it. James Bond 007. Built by Sapphire. Man, this game was awesome. This game was awesome. Oh yeah, I guess we can do this. Give it a shot. Pretty neat. Start with $1,000. Oh, I meant to hit deal. Whoops. Or hit. I can't English. 18. All right, stand. Oh yeah. Anyway, that's pretty cute. Does it like save the amount of money? Nope. Well, unless I won and no, I think I didn't have 1,000 exactly. Yeah, like they got the gambling part. Like this game, I think it's so cool because it's funny too to play this kind of immediately after GoldenEye. Well, not so immediate with the break we had, but GoldenEye was kind of an exciting leap forward in technology compared to previous games, and that allowed them to capture like it's just about the first Bond game to have dialogue and action. Not strictly speaking, but like almost. And it's a cool action game with cool set pieces, and the music is excellent. And you know, it has like the Bond girls and the kind of showdowns with some of the villains and whatnot, but it captures a lot of the Bond flavor in some ways, but GoldenEye doesn't really ever capture much of that charm and kind of almost comedic aspect. Not every Bond film or Bond actor has a you know, a big comedic bent, but even so, like those sort of one-liners and like goofy silliness like that usually has been a pretty constant thing. There's been more of it and less of it, but like it's an element that tends to be present. Not to mention, you know, like set pieces and action scenes that aren't just running around shooting. Like GoldenEye does do some interesting things with certain levels where you have different restrictions, and like there's the part where you're imprisoned and you don't have weapons, so you have to escape. Like there's some things like that, but I think this game, on account of having like the walking around and interacting with people blending so seamlessly with the combat part where you walk around and shoot or use your machete or whatever, you kind of get these sections. So yeah, you're just wandering the streets of Marrakesh, and then you go into this casino. There's this big gambling thing. You draw out Mr. Fez by becoming a high roller. Like there's nothing like that in GoldenEye. So the fact that obviously the action is a little less elaborate in the way it's presented here, but then you have like, yeah, odd jobs, fucking wall bouncing multi hats. You have the electromagnet Jaws fight. You have General Golgov in his mech suit and shit. Like GoldenEye doesn't have shit like that. So this is like kind of over the top. Like the fact that this is a little bit tongue-in-cheek, it's not making fun of it. It's very loving, but it is a little bit heightened and exaggerated, which I think works very well with the presentation of the game, like the visual style and everything. It's sort of, you know, condensed and squeezed together. But even the plot and the kind of I mean, the plot, as it were, the actual sort of mystery that's being solved is pretty, you know, oh, Oddjob has a weapons crime gang. Oh no, he was working for an evil Russian. Okay, like, you know, that part's not that deep. But the narrative and like the unfolding of events, like you do this little action intro part, and then like the only thing missing I feel from this game is after the China stage, there should have been like a Bond theme opening. Like if they'd done the opening kind of credits sequence after that, that would have been mind-blowing. Because the scene after that in the game is the MI6 office briefing scene, and you go to the Q branch office or whatever, the lab. That's the first time I think we've seen the Q lab in a game. And you even have the dude fucking getting stuck in the couch. Holy shit, was that incredible. And then you go to these different locations, like these pretty exotic locations, and they even tie them together, and you, like, the way you come back to Kurdistan and it's a war zone, like, it's really elaborate. And the locations are kind of memorable, and you have these cool boss fights. Like, this game does a lot of things very, very well in terms of being a compelling game, but also in terms of capturing elements of the Bond kind of formula that other games generally haven't really managed to capture very well. I wasn't blown away at the beginning, but as we saw more and more of the game, like, I'm more and more blown away. And I think it's also like, even the mechanics of the game and how it plays, like, I think the scope and length of the game and the sort of the action gameplay not ever perhaps getting like super advanced or compelling or whatever, I for a time I felt like that was gonna, like, you know, kind of when we were halfway through, basically at the end of the first stream, like, oh man, you know, it was pretty snappy and moving forward very quickly, but then the Marrakesh stage was so big and I got lost and it was kind of tedious. I was like, okay, I don't know, is this game gonna be super sick? Like, even though there was cool stuff happening in that stage, I was a little bit hesitant because I wasn't sure how the game would develop from that point. But I think that stage, and partially that was because of my own, you know, bumbling about, that was the longest, most kind of convoluted, confusing stage, but it still had some very memorable parts in it. And for sure, like, as we see more of the game, we see more of these other locations. Like, the things I could talk about as negatives of this game are, for the most part, stuff that just isn't terribly super impressive. But it's fine for those parts to not be terribly super impressive, because a lot of the rest of the game actually is. So yeah, I would say this game is definitely top contender for the #1 Bond game so far. There was indeed a blackjack minigame. When you go to the casino in Marrakesh, you go to the cashier, whatever, and you're handed a $500 or $1,000 or whatever. Just like, all right, cool. And you have to earn like 2,500 or something in order to access the high rollers room. And you can play blackjack or Red Dog, two different card games. And when you've won enough, they will let you into the high rollers room where you play Baccarat. And if you play Baccarat and win a certain amount, I guess, then you will spawn Mr. Fez, the right-hand man of Oddjob, who you will need to have summoned, so that you can sneak in through the back door, like through the catacombs, and secretly shoot him with a tranquilizer dart, so you can pilfer the room key off of his, I was gonna say body, off of his person, I guess we'll say. There's still some mysteries left in Marrakesh, like that mysterious underground pass that some dude wanted to trade something valuable for. And there's these locked doors where it says you need the underground pass to come in, and I don't know, is that a thing? Who knows? We cleared the mission, we cleared the stage, cleared the game, so I guess it doesn't matter. Now, let me consult the almighty Games Bond spreadsheet, and if you would like to follow along, I'll capture it on stream, but you can also, of course, open up the link right there and have a gander So let's see. I guess I think this should keep the music running. Let's find out. Yep. All right. So we have the manual here. Let me do some tweaks here. And we will do this. I believe that's the URL. Let me just check that I'm not doing something bad here. Nope, that looks good. Oh, there we go. Wait, what? Okay, yeah, it's just a little bugged. OBS, I don't know, it's acting weird when stuff is like in the like something about nested grouped items being hidden or visible, and it's just like not hiding or showing them as it should. Or at least this particular group. It's just bugged for some reason. Anyway. Let me see, does this work? I can do this. That should be a little more easy to read. So, James Bond 007 for the Game Boy. Let's update some status here. Mission end 2023 10:04. Mission status completed in 6:02:40. Not the longest, but not the shortest game. Pretty average, sort of. Well, slightly above average, I guess. We'll add the links here once I've actually saved the recordings, of course. Completed the game. Is there any other comment I need to add here? I don't feel like there is really. Completed the game on Super Game Boy after eventually learning how saving on the EverDrive works. That was the thing at the beginning. I had to do some trickery to get the Super, not the Super Game Boy, but the EverDrive cartridge battery to behave. But yeah, there we have it. So, that means that this is no longer the current game. We mark this as green. We have completed it. The orange ones are the ones we gave up on. This is a significantly better track record as far as that is concerned than I expected going in. I mean, these are the dark days of microcomputer Bond games, and the fact that we even, you'll see here that some of them says we used hints or we used trainers or cheats. Some of these games, that's like, even that is shocking. But I'm very proud that we did actually complete License to Kill. I think that's this one, right? Yeah, and that was a pretty sick game too, License to Kill on the Amiga. In any case, up next, bold in this, will be Tomorrow Never Dies for the Sony PlayStation. And this marks actually the end of one era and the beginning of another. As you can see here, the publisher for these earlier games, Domark put out a lot of them, but it was kind of a little bit all over the place for the computer era. And then we had kind of the brief console era with the Kremlin games for the Sega Mega Drive and Master System, GoldenEye on N64, and this game, James Bond 007 for the Game Boy, both published by Nintendo. But as you can see, after this, we're entering the EA era. And this will be the first of many EA published Bond games. The first of, well, at least two, maybe more games developed by Black Ops. So let me just add here that this will be up next. That is up next. We also, of course, do have our bonus missions here at the bottom. We did complete the GoldenEye dedicated handheld on Saturday. Oh yeah, I gotta save those VODs too. We got the little ending. That was pretty sick too. So yeah, that's the spreadsheet update. And on that note, why don't we hop on over here and take a little look at what's next. I can find my way around. There we go. Mission 19, 007, Tomorrow Never Dies. Did I actually play the Tiger handheld for over 37 hours? No, that is supposed to say 37 minutes and 49 seconds. But thank you for calling that out. Just a little. Yeah, it just does that because it assumes it's the only game that is less than an hour. So let me make sure to put a 0 at the front of that. But thank you for noticing that. There we go. That's better. J2ME is Java for phones. Yes, so that is the most popular feature phone game platform. And yeah, we're heading into mobile phone games before too long. We're still got ways to go before we start getting mobile games, but they will arrive. They will arrive. We're still in the 90s. 1999, in fact, is when Black Ops Entertainment developed Tomorrow Never Dies for the PS1 for Electronic Arts. The first of many James Bond games published by Electronic Arts. As suave Secret Agent 007, employ your cunning wit and high-tech gadgets to survive multiple levels of espionage based on exciting situations from the blockbuster film, including challenging shooting, driving, and skiing game modes. Got multimodal Bond gaming. That is what's been missing from both these Nintendo games and the Sega ones, for that matter. We need some ocean-style, multi-genre Bond gaming. Your mission will be dangerous, but you can handle it. After all, you're Bond. James Bond. Indeed, it may seem like we started this yesterday, but we did start this yesteryear. Unless my my memory, I guess, is totally off. I believe that the 10th of October was the premiere of James Bond. I chose that date partially because it happened to be convenient, but also because it is the anniversary. It was last year, the 60th anniversary of the premiere of Dr. No in British cinemas. We will not be doing the anniversary special on the 10th because I don't particularly feel like disrupting my schedule. I think we can move it a day or two and it doesn't really hurt too much. But we are indeed going to be holding off on playing this game for a little bit for two reasons. One, we're doing the 1 year special thing, which it just feels better to do that in between games instead of doing it in the middle of a game. But also, because this is of course a movie-based game, we need to watch the movie before we play the game. And that will be happening on Discord. I have yet to schedule this such that I have an exact date for it. But we will be playing this game once we have watched the movie, which probably will happen next week. I wrote this thing about the movie on my Discord. I don't remember exactly what I wrote. But basically, Friday, we are going to be playing some fighting games, because it's a viewer's choice fighting game Friday night bonus stream Friday. Saturday, I reckon we'll do just some gaming. We'll do something. And I think Wednesday, probably Wednesday next week, we'll do the anniversary stream. and we'll find time somewhere between now and then to watch Tomorrow Never Dies, such that we maybe can start playing that on Saturday stream next week. Not this upcoming Saturday, but a week and a half from now. I think that's likely what we're going to be doing. Yeah, with the exception of handheld games, which granted there are a lot of them between Game Boy and DS and whatever else, and mobile phones, there's still plenty of 2D Bond gaming to go around. But console games from here on out are generally going to be in 3D. And it's going to be exciting. There's going to be a bunch of first-person shooters, but there's going to be a bunch of other stuff. Like this game is not a first-person shooter, to the best of my knowledge. And in fact, you can get a little sneak preview here, I believe. Let me, I'll just turn off my Super Nintendo, I guess. We'll do that. And, let's see. Yeah, we'll do this then. Do this. Got a whole bunch of files here. See. Oh, this should be good. All right, let's. Maybe I should save this. All right, I should probably save this. Okay, I have a bunch of clips here, but let's just take a look at one of them. There, okay, good. I wasn't sure if it was capturing.
Ever wonder what it's like to be 007? Now you know.
Got driving. We got planing, skiing.
Be Bond on PlayStation Game Console.
Pretty funny too. There was like The World's Not Enough in theaters now, so they were advertising this. Well, maybe the game wasn't brand new. Well, then again, I don't know. I guess because yeah, didn't the movie come out in '97? I remember being confused about this when I was looking at some of the dates, because I know that GoldenEye came out, like the film was holiday '95, and I think the game was early '97. And I guess it makes sense that, you know, they didn't start making this game till after that. But it's still interesting that they got a Tomorrow Never Dies game out there, but that was also like 2 years late. Yeah, that's a little confusing. There's another. Well, let's see what the. I've watched these clips, of course, but it was ages ago, so I don't remember what they are. But actually, you know what? Let's not spoil ourselves too much on the game. But what we can do is, because we're going to be watching the movie, we can check out the trailer for that. Let's see if I can just figure out where I have it. Because we have the yeah, it's like the teaser and the full trailer. Yeah, fuck it, let's just watch this.
Yesterday is a memory. Today is history. Tomorrow is in the hands of one man.
Bond. You know the rest.
Like, honestly, these teaser trailers are so good. We watched, there was one for GoldenEye that was kind of similar. There's like no dialogue. There's just like, it's just like a sizzle reel of cool shit from the movie with the Bond music, and it just gets you super fucking pumped to watch it. But then you get like the actual traditional trailer with story and shit, and it's like, no, you know, it's fine, but
Sound the general alarm.
it doesn't get me as pumped to watch it as the teaser trailer.
Pilot insists we're inside their territorial waters and he will fire.
An act of violence.
Torpedo, torpedo, torpedo.
It was an unprovoked attack on a ship in international waters.
The promise of war.
And instead of decisive action, all you want to do is
My
investigate.
goal is to prevent World War III, Admiral.
Now, the world has only one chance for peace.
When will our ships be in position?
48 hours.
And just one man for the job.
Bond. James Bond.
How much do you know about Elliot Carver, 007?
Worldwide media baron. Owns newspapers, radio, satellite TV.
There's no news like bad news.
I understand you once had a relationship with Carver's wife.
Was it something I said?
How about the words, "I'll be right back"?
I'm from the New China News Agency.
Looking for a news story?
Could have taken care of him.
Let the mayhem begin. Your new BMW.
Lord Q.
Will you need collision coverage?
Yes.
Property destruction?
Definitely.
Personal injury?
Accidents do happen.
Grow up, 007.
We seem to have developed a certain attachment.
I get to work with a decadent agent of a corrupt Western power.
I think you found the right decadent, corrupt Western agent as a partner.
Phase 2 is underway.
Man, look how happy he is.
What the hell is he doing?
His job.
The world belongs to Bond.
All right, sure.
When you remove Mr. Bond's heart, there should just be enough time for him to watch it stop beating.
I would have thought watching your TV shows was torture enough.
One-liner game, not super strong in this trailer, but it might just be the trailer editing. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. So yeah, so stay tuned for an exact date announcement, but I would suspect that we might squeeze in a viewing of this movie either during this upcoming weekend or maybe next week. I'd like to try to avoid watching the movie and then waiting like a whole week until we play the game. Because I think we did that before, and it's like... I don't remember which game it was, but there was like... might have been Octopussy? I don't know. But it was like 4 or 5 days from watching the film to playing the game, and by the time we started playing the game, I'd like already forgotten the, the movie. Actually, GoldenEye was a little bit like that too. So I'm going to try to get a little bit closer. But we'll see. Like I said, stay tuned for announcements there, and the place to be for announcements as well as the actual movie night itself will of course be the Discord. I'm super excited about the upcoming games. I'm really jazzed to be back in the James Bond game, and it'll be fun to continue. But between the anniversary special and having to watch the film, we will have a little bit of a break, so there'll be a few streams where we look at some other stuff, but there's usually no shortage of game, so I'm not too worried about that. Speaking of, we finished early. We have some time to kill. And I was thinking about this after last stream when I figured, well, we're probably going to beat the game pretty quickly, so I should think of something else to do because I don't want to jump into the next Bond game. And I figured, like, well, you know, we got the Game Boy EverDrive. Maybe there's some other Game Boy stuff that would be fun to mess with. So I went to, like, see, all right, is there some other Game Boy games I'd like to check out? Like, should I download something or should I put something on the EverDrive? And then I realized, like, well, I have like a pile of Game Boy cartridges. I haven't played any of those in forever, and some of them I might not barely have ever played, period. So I think I want to mess with something on the Game Boy. We've got the Super Game Boy out and everything, so I'm going to take a short break. I'm way overdue. But when I return, why don't we do some additional Game Boy gaming and see what we can come up with. I'll see you guys in just a little bit.